Listen, if your wrinkly pink meat computer has seemed to turn against you and the subsequent cascade of nasty fucking brain chemicals are making you emotionally feel like shit, then know this, it will fucking change. The very basis of reality has changed. We are quantum foam collapsed by our attention into particles which are made of atoms that are 99% emptiness and electric sperm whizzing around. Reality is a nearly non-existent light show, and your electrical thought surges, which are even more insubstantial, cast about into the electric emptiness, trying very hard to confirm that you actually fucking exist. That's the job of the mind, to try and make real the persistent illusion of apparent reality. We seek stability, and in our proclivity for attractions and aversions, we grasp onto feeling good and are repelled by feeling bad. We get lost in the fucking pushing and pulling. There is an escape hatch, though. It's through observation. If you can observe thoughts and moods, thereby stepping behind them, they will have less of a hold upon you. You are either thought or you're observing thought. Thoughts can't think themselves. New thoughts can be generated to think of the original fucking thought, creating a deeper quagmire of thought, but an unbiased observation is the only fucking way to create some space from suffering. But not only do we need space from suffering, we need space from fucking non-suffering as well, because suffering is just an aversion to what is. Non-suffering is an attraction. Happy and sad are a big-ass gray area collapsed into black and white by the way each individual mind is set up. Instead of being in a shitty state, observe it. Stop saying I am and try it is. By doing so, you are one step closer to what you actually are. Now, if we are hyper-aware of the shitty cycles, then so too should we be diligent in observing the good and happy times, and also understand that they are fucking temporary too. It's a pendulum of I want it and I don't want it, and that pendulum pauses only so briefly at the apex of each arc. Once upon a fucking time, the primordial wakeful emptiness woke up in a little meat potato, that's baby you, as simply a pure awareness, and through continued sensory input and experience of life and other people's definition of reality that we adopt, and our developed attractions and aversions and neutralities, we've caused quite the tangle of neural pathways, and thus we suffer and experience joy, but never are we perpetually in one state, as the nature of reality is to seek balance in creation and destruction, in birth and in death, and your wrinkly pink meat computer is not immune to this constant fucking flux, and is constantly teeter-tottering us in an attempt at homeostasis, or balance. But guess what? That pure, unattached awareness that existed before you did, that suddenly shone through the aperture of a little baby meat potato's mind, is still there, still unattached, just wakeful and watching reality unfold, as vast cosmic explosions and collapses, expansions and contractions in the flurry of the subatomic world, and you just fucking being you in this self-evident presence that's all over the fucking place and currently hiding behind your face is cool with whatever the fuck you want to do. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, and the substratum of you has always been, but we're designed to forget shit. Did you know there are fucking black holes punching into our universe that would swallow instantly 15 of our Milky Way galaxies? We detect gamma ray bursts that reach Earth about every day, the power of which is equal to all of the energy that our sun will put out in its entire lifetime, but released all at once in a millisecond, around 10 trillion billion megaton bombs worth. Do you think the universe gives a shit if we choose to suffer a little? But reciprocally, that enormous potential energy is what created the particles that we are made of. We are electric stardust meat golems, and behind our mind is an ineffable beingness, a primordial, uncreated, undestroyable witness to the most vast and terrible, but also the most delicate and tender. You see, it allows and in a sense enjoys all things big and small, without the fetters of mind labels or attractions and aversions, and all things, including you, are an iteration of somethingness born of the pregnant void of nothingness to experience every possibility through your mind labels and your attractions and aversions. And the current possibility is you, an avatar of the eternal, a meat mole planted into the minutia of action to secretly report back, a dualistic report of an iteration of itself while sustaining you with a background feeling of you-ness as an engine generating reality. That's you, motherfuckers, so what the fuck are you gonna do with all the potential creative power of the fucking universe spraying through the urethra of your mind? We already know how to ride the fucking roller coaster of our neural and biological cycles, but through observation, and I mean really fucking making this a practice, not just when you're meditating or when things are shitty, but as much as you can manage, even when the feeling of happiness is prevalent, you can sink closer to that all-pervasive, unknowable, whatever the fuck it is, that you have direct access to through its interaction with your thoughts, a thing called consciousness. This experience is your birthright. Let's just call it existence. It is the self-evident, wakeful presence that shines through, thus animating your life. You're never not that. It's just that you may have only ever directed the spray of awareness outward, and we piss our attention onto the campfire of our aversions and wonder what the fuck that nasty smell is. It's so fucking simple, but is also most elusive, because just as our eye cannot see itself, it's designed to look outward, but we know it exists because we can fucking see, and this thing we're always looking for but never seem to find is because it is the seer binding itself to the process of seeing and labeling attributes to the seen. It's just fucking you. It may have to be enough for now to know that mysterious it's just you. And if you want to hang out with that original self, try just breathing and existing, which is a more genuine reflection of that inner beingness than our wound up fucking thoughts can ever provide. Allow thoughts to come and go without becoming attached or activated. Don't force the issue, they're just clouds in the sky of you. Allow what is simply to be what is without label or judgment. There is only one thing in reality that doesn't change, and for our reference, it's that existence that feels like meanness, devoid of attributes. If something comes, it'll also go. That's not you. You are the self-evident feeling of me that was the same before you were born and permeated your little meat potato baby-ass self at your birth. And through every stage and experience and fucking mood, aim for that ever-present meanness. Every spiritual text you've ever fucking read that talks about looking within is pointing at this thing that I am failing to explain. And I say failing because it's not an explanation or an idea. It can only be an experiential awareness that you are having behind thought and outside of time itself. Reality is you. Toodaloo.